Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Frazier.
Brother Lance.
And yes, while you adjust that phone, I'm going to come on in.
Okay.
Open up. Jump right in. Yes, indeed. All right, here we go.
There we go.
Want to see your face? There you go. There you go.
Okay. Okay. We good?
Yeah, put it right in the middle.
Okay. Let me get something to hold in here.
Put your information right up.
Slide in here.
There you go. Perfect right there. Right there.
All right. I got to change this. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I was rushing. You know, I still work. I'm not totally retired.
No. I understand. I understand.
So I like to get back. Okay. Trying to get this. That's fine.
That's perfect. That's perfect, brother. Okay. That's perfect. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
Oh, feeling rejuvenated, feeling good, on a roll. Keep on throwing the punches. I got the Joe Frazier mentality. We think about Mike Tyson, but we have to think about Joe Frazier. He kept throwing that left hook.
That's right.
Kept throwing it. I'm not looking to say, oh, is it over yet? No, we're going to keep on throwing until the opponent falls.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
You know how we roll.
Exactly. Day in and day out. I think I did 7 shows in the last 7 days in the morning time. I just get up.
Yeah, you know, I can't keep up with you, but I do see the ones I saw, man, very inspiring. And you know, the thing is with all this garbage that's out here, it's good to hear someone, you know, say things that we actually need to be talking about.
Yes.
Not celebrities and all this other garbage.
God. That stuff they got. And when you think down to the last few decades, that whole industry of celebrity gossip and all, I mean, what has it done for us? What has it done for us? It's mind-numbing.
It is. It is. I mean, that Lance, I have stopped. I used to like go on YouTube every day and look at something. I really have cut down my connection to it because it doesn't do anything for you. It's the same stuff over and over again. Exactly.
And let me tell you, I'm on social media a lot, but to distribute.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I distribute stuff. And along the way, if I see something, I glance it and I just keep going. But I distribute stuff. And there are people who reach out to me on like every other platform, and I don't catch it all the time. Sometimes I might not check my Instagram for a week or my Facebook page for a week, but I'm distributing stuff.
You're distributing stuff. You're not consuming. Yeah.
Right. If it's something good or somebody sends me something good, I'll check it out. But to sit there like some dude on the beach with that little thing that tries to find the metal and wiping it up and down, and you know what I mean? I'm not. I'd rather, you know what I'd rather do? Sit down and look over the mountains and meditate.
Absolutely. 100%.
Exactly.
I mean, when you're marketing and distributing positive information like you do, and dealing with issues that we need to confront, then that's what people need on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Not what Cardi B wore at some award last night.
Oh, man.
Anything to help anybody grow and develop. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, and I just connected with a good friend of mine from back in Queens. And we were always connected on Instagram, but you know how sometimes, like with me, there's so many people that I may know, and may not see each other for a while, and I say, "Whoa, it's been like almost." She didn't even know that I moved to Africa.
Wow.
I've been here over 3 years, but it flew by so fast.
Time really flies.
And I remember telling her that after the first trip in 2019, I said, "Yeah, I'm going to move back there." That was the last we talked, and now boom. So I'm like, yo, because I was saying something to the effect of that I'm here, and she's like, "When did you leave Florida?"
Wow.
I'm like, "I've been going since September 2020 for permanent." You know what I mean? So that hit me. So it's like, it's a thing, and I'm gonna shut up after this, but it's like with my parents, they always want to do different things. They projected, like my father wanted to go back to Connecticut where he lived at one time to reach out to some friends that might still be alive. And my mother did things she wanted to do and everything. And they were on their way to doing them, but it never happened.
Wow.
And it just left a mark on me from way back then. When I said, if I'm blessed to get to a certain chronological age in this country, I'm done. I'm finished.
Yeah.
I don't care if I get to a point where, you can work on this job a little more and get a little more money. Now, every situation is different. But, you know, everybody's situation is different. A person can't say, well, I should have done it like him, or no. You don't even have to come to Africa. You can go to Guatemala, wherever you want to go, Costa Rica. Even if you want to stay. But whatever you do, get to a point where in your life, you're beginning to embark on the things that you said that you want to do from young, because these years here, Brother Neil, they go by faster.
They do go by faster.
I'm not playing, bro.
Once you hit 50,
it's I know. So guess what? I'm at 60 years old, going to be on my everyday journey like Leon Spinks was on Muhammad Ali's ass in that first fight.
Yeah.
Let me see. He just kept throwing punches. And Ali was out of shape. He just kept coming. So now that's why I said, wait a second. I'm at this point now. I feel good. But you know what? No way. So there's other things that I'm going to do that I'm not putting out there yet, because the negative forces out there. But I'm doing them. And I'm doing them now. I'm at the point of there is no one more day. Oh, one day.
No, it's not. Yeah.
We know things don't go overnight. But see me, I go after my things like I'm trying to do it all overnight. I fall asleep doing what if I don't wake up and the phone is on the floor, gonna drop, I'm looking at stuff and it falls down, then that means I wasn't working hard enough.
That's right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Sense of urgency. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's why I was telling somebody the other day when we were walking down the street, I said, you know, I'm not judging, because judging is when you don't know. I'm assessing. I can feel the energy off of people. And there was a couple brothers. I said, see that brother over there? We were just people watch. I said, see that brother over there? He got something to do. Look at the sense of urgency in his walk.
Yeah.
I see one over there, and that next one over there, he ain't about nothing.
Yeah.
Looking around and looking at the girl's bus and just in his phone and just standing around. This other dude was doing a beeline somewhere, and he had something to do. I said, that's the one I roll with.
Yeah, exactly.
See what I mean?
Yeah, that's the kind of energy you want to be caught up with.
Exactly. So that being said, Brother Neil, I know you got stuff to do too. The floor is yours. I'm just glad to be here once again on a Monday afternoon for you, evening for me. And we want to hear your flow. And so many people love you and value you. Dr. Ade loves you and values you. I can't wait to get both of you on the show and we chit chat.
That'd be great.
That would be like a master ping pong game of knowledge. It hits from one side, bing, bing, another side, bing, bing. Oh my God, that would be nice. That would be historic. But anyway, brother.
That female energy is strong when it's right.
Exactly. It hypes you up. It gets you going. So that's what it's all about for me. Whether it's morning, noon, or night, I'm coming with the energy. And when people don't see me, I'm doing something for the legacy and for the momentum of what I'm put here to do. And the main thing now is to motivate.
Did you get the video I just sent you, Lance?
Oh, no, wait, hold on. I can get it real quick. Oh, man.
Okay, it's a short one.
Okay, I'll get it.
Okay.
It's like that old song back in the day. I got my mind made up. Come on, you can get it. Anytime. Say what? Tonight is fine. Well, we're going to get this video.
Okay, man, I miss those old days, bro. I really do.
And those things are still fresh in my head. You see how quick you said about getting the video, the song popped in my head?
Yeah.
I'm on superhuman energy. I don't know. This melanin in these mountains and this rain and all this stuff, it's like doing something. Bringing me back to where it's supposed to be. Okay, I see it right here.
Okay.
Let me search it. I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna get in the meantime. Let me just look at the title. I'm gonna get it right on in.
Okay.
On in, just like that. Okay, economics. Okay, once I put this part of the title in.
Yeah, it's pretty short, to the point.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Just something to continue to remind us of where, you know, what we need to be on point with, like you do every day.
Right. Right. Okay, here we go. I bet you we find it on the first shot.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Is that I'm seeing it. Okay, this is okay, this is the one. This is the one. There was one who. All right, let me go up to this one. Because there's several versions of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Let me hit it right and share the screen. And once we do that, we're good to go.
All right,
okay,
bro.
Present. Share screen. Here we go.
Yeah, I'll just take this chance real quick time to okay, there we go.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. No, go ahead and say what you're saying, and I'll hit the button.
I was going to say hello to everyone in the chat room, the family, and thank you again, Brother Lance, for being with you on Monday.
Always, man. It's an honor and a pleasure. Trust me, I look forward to this. When I wake up, I'm like, today's the day. No Frazier. Yeah, I'm like a computer, man. It's like, okay, but do this, but do this, but do this, but do that. Then boom, that's what we're gonna do. All right. Here we go. We're going to play this right now. Okay, let me go into this. Let's make sure the sound is up and good. We gonna roll.
What's up, family? This is Caden with Urban Finance, and today we're going to be doing a book review of Jawansa's Kunjufu book, Black Economics. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so here are my top 4 takeaways from Jawansa Kunjufu book, Black Economics. Number 1, the Black consumer. African Americans consumers need to be more conscious of where they spend their money. Many African Americans have no idea how much they spend on food, clothing, and entertainment. And unless we have a firm idea on what we are spending on and direct our money in the direction of building the community, we can never become empowered. We must learn how to invest as a group. Dr. Kunjufu gave an example of how 12 members of the Evans family, featured in Black Enterprise, invested $800 a month for 5 years, and they were able to accumulate $2.3 million as a result of it. If each Black family got together and started investing in stocks and real estate as a group, we should be well on our way to financial empowerment. The war on Black families. In 1920, 90% of African Americans' children had their fathers at home. In 1960, the figure dropped slightly to 80%. And presently, the figure have been hovering around 35%. The various waves represent aspects of the American economy. First, the agriculture, second, industrialism, and third, post-industrialism, automation and computers. Historically, the first people that were laid off when there was a reduction in the American workforce were obviously African Americans. Black people have always been systematically, through institutional racism, pushed to the bottom of the job market, with some Blacks making just enough to create a buffer class to convince the larger group of Blacks that their shortcomings are of their own makings. Not to mention government programs that penalize Black mothers if they had a man living at home who just got laid off. Needless to say, there has historically been a war on the Black family, because a strong Black family would lead to a strong Black community. My third takeaway from Jawansa Kunjufu is why foreigners did so well. There are a lot of myths around why foreigners do well in America. The first is that they have easier access to capital than Black people. This is just not the case according to Dr. Kunjufu. The fact is that most foreigners start their own credit association because the blank won't give them credit either. For the Chinese, they call it fui. The Japanese and Trinidadians call it susu. The Yoruba call it isusu. And the Jamaicans call it fufu. In New York City, 1/3 of the Black businesses owned by Africans are owned by Africans from the Caribbean, and they are only 10% of the population. Foreigners are also more likely to live with extended family members, which increases the number of people in the household, allowing them to save more and own property at a greater rate. The net sum here is that foreigners have more experience with the idea of group economics. And the fourth takeaway from Dr. Kunjufu book's Black Economics that may be holding the Black community back is the fear of starting a business. Black businesses fail at a very high rate. Within a year period, 30% of all Black businesses have failed. Within 5 years, 75% of Black businesses have failed. And within a 10-year period, 80% of Black businesses have failed. It is said that Black people start businesses to become the boss, and white people start businesses to make money. As a result, many people often feel like the services Black people provide are less than par. Now, this can be debated, but we all know some Black business that do not really treat the customers like they are an asset. This doesn't mean there isn't money in starting a business within a Black community. Sometimes people go into businesses that they really have no formal training in it, and we know that leads to higher business failures. Also, some of our best and brightest are often focused on working for someone else. It is also a lot more prestigious in the Black community to work for a big company or a Fortune 500 company than to start a businesses, regardless of who gets paid more. And if Black people are to advance as a group in society, we must put a bigger focus on creating businesses and encouraging our youth about the importance of starting their own business. Okay, family, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and like the video. Hit the bell so you can get notified when I drop something new. Those are my 4 takeaways from Black Economics by Jawanza Kunjufu. And always have a blessed day, and remember to live your best life.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that was short and sweet. So again, Brother Lance, thank you for the opportunity to come on your platform again. You're doing big things, and proud of you, brother.
Thank you, brother. I'm only doing big things because I'm around great people.
Okay, I feel you on that, brother. I feel you on that. I just want to greet the family there in the chat room as well.
Yes.
Today is another important topic, why you should never compare yourself to anyone else. And one of the reasons why I always like to do an introduction, because it helps to explain the process, not only in terms of how I arrived to these conclusions and concepts, but also how there are things in nature that are there to teach us that we totally overlook because of the way we've been indoctrinated in terms of learning, which is not really true learning. And again, here at the Academy, we believe that nature is our greatest teacher. So it'll be a little different. Well, not different, because you guys are used to the concepts we use in nature, but it will be challenging in terms of getting outside, thinking outside the box, and looking at who we really are and why we shouldn't compare ourselves to anyone else at any time. So there are several areas we're going to look at. First, we're going to look at the biological evidence that you are literally chosen. We're going to look at the fact that a space is created in the universe each time a new spirit enters it. We're also going to look at the law of karma and destiny. Who chose your purpose and why? Then we'll talk a little bit about nature, the nature-nurture controversy, and the shaping of your personality, and the role that self-hate plays in our current behavior patterns. We talk about our three major influencers. We're also going to talk about our psychosocial environment. All right. So let's look at the biological evidence of why you should never compare yourself to anyone. Okay. Now, again, nature is our greatest teacher. We look at nature from its biological root, okay, from its psychological root, from its spiritual root. So again, many of the lessons that are in nature, we don't see simply because we were taught on purpose to look at life from a 90-degree perspective. So in the biological world and at the molecular level, we see the creator creative spirit in full operation. When there's a desire to conceive a child, there are 300 million sperms are released during the male ejaculation. Okay. Now, it's interesting about this because all 300 million of these sperms have the same goal, and that is to reach the egg. Millions die in the acidic river around the uterus. We know that the cervix is only open for 2 days, okay? But millions also die in the cervical mucus. So again, we see that there are two things or two forms of warfare that is at the biological level that immediately comes into play once this energy is put into motion. The sperm continues its journey to the uterus, and inside the uterus muscles, they pull the sperm forward. Okay, so again, thousands of them die there. So we see, millions of them die there. Okay, but it's only a few thousand that make it to the fallopian tube. So here we see that you have already been chosen. You are facing the different challenges and tests, even at the molecular level. Okay, so it's not when you're born that this spiritual warfare begins. It begins here. Okay, and this is the beginning of the spiritual warfare that we don't see at that level. Again, because our focus about nature and how it operates have been usurped by those who look at it from a 90-degree perspective because they want to replace the creator creatrix as the dominant force in your life. So once you get to the fallopian tube, only about 24 make it to the egg. Now this is interesting too at this point because this is where intelligence, you can see the divine intelligence at work. Okay, we're going to look at how that happens. So those 24 that make it to the egg, all right, the remaining sperm have to reach the membrane and break through it. Okay, so now we see the ultimate test for your life put up. Okay, Because if you can't break through that uteral wall, you have no chance of being conceived. So we see a form of intelligence that has already designed this and chosen you to go and fertilize the egg. Okay, once the sperm that is chosen, you, reaches the egg, okay, a protective chemical shield. This is the form of intelligence I'm talking about. So now they know this is you. You're there. The sperm that you were battling with that tried to prevent you from being, because even after you're chosen, you still have to make choices in life like we do now. Okay. So there is a form of intelligence, a natural intelligence that's involved in this process. So, but you get help because this is now you. Okay, so once that sperm is chosen, it reaches the egg and immediately a protective chemical or shield is released and seals the sperm, you, okay, and is released, seals the sperm, and then it kills all the other sperm around you. So I want to make a point about this because remember, we look at life through nature on 3 different levels. The physical level, in particular the biological level we're talking about now, the psychological level, and the spiritual level. So we see an interesting thing that happens here. And you can think of it this way. All those other demons in your life or counterfeit spirits that you've been battling with, when you embrace your purpose as a people or as an individual first, but as a people, then those things will begin to be killed off. But they can't be killed off if they're still influencing your environment. So what does nature teach us immediately? It kills them. Okay. So now you're there. And inside the egg, okay, I'm sorry. The reason why we know that there's an intelligence involved behind this is because zinc is released as a protective, to protect your immune system that's going to develop. Okay, and inside the egg, the genetic materials reform into 23X and 23Y chromosomes. Now, this is where your genetic memory bank is created. Okay, this is where it's created. So then psychologically, you begin, I don't care what they say in the books, your spirit is dominant over any brain or physical functions at this point. So this is where the spirit emerges. It forms the X and Y chromosomes. They come together in your genetic material, which determines your characteristics come out. Okay, or they're formed. Your genetic memory bank is formed. So your spiritual, psychological, and physical all fuse together at this point. That's why you should never compare yourself with another person or anybody else collectively as a culture. Another interesting thing that happens is there's a flash of light that appears at the moment of conception. Now, I look at that like this could be some form of consciousness, but I look at it as the divine intelligence or the real spirit, that flash that takes place right when that melanated sperm and that melanated egg and you, the chosen one, and that flash goes off, then you know, that's it. That's the creator creation saying, okay, bam, you're there. You have a purpose. We chose you for that purpose. And not only that, we gave you the abilities to achieve that purpose. Now, again, I want to use a biblical reference because it is what it is. Our people, 90% of our people were raised, maybe 95%, on the scriptures. It influences, for us to deny this, even though we know the truth, we still have to explain things through the medium in which we can comprehend and understand. And that's the most important point. And for Black folks, that's the scriptures. So I'm going to use a scripture to help clarify what I just said. Okay. So what happened, it was I believe it was a prophet, maybe Nehemiah. I'm digging back now. And he was told to build a wall. And he said, well, I don't have the people to accomplish this task. Where am I going to get them from? And the Creator said, no, that's not for you to worry about. I already have the people that have this ability to do. See, this is the other thing too. Why we suffer from the head nigga in charge syndrome and why we can't move forward. Everybody has a specific talent, ability, and purpose. Okay, and I've said this before, that if the feet and the arm wanted to be the same thing, we would never be able to get anything done. So you have to be comfortable in the role that was chosen for you and your purpose. And this becomes crystal clear. We're going to talk about how that becomes crystal clear. But again, Nehemiah, or just like anybody else, the way it's supposed to work is, this is why we're unsuccessful in business as well. We're supposed to bring our particular gift, get a group, and I don't know why Black folks can't do this. We used to do this. Okay, all of it, it's just like when we went to potlucks. Everybody brought their own special dish, and we made like a jambalaya type of situation. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is, instead of worrying about the gifts and abilities that someone else has, you need to bring your A game to the table. Because if all of us brought our A game to the table, we put that together and each person produce what they're supposed to produce, I guarantee you, we will see a different result. My concern now is we're passing down this same mentality to the children, and this is how they think now. You know, and this is the mistake we continue to make generation after generation. Okay. In fact, when I go out looking for people that think differently than me. I do that consciously now. I go out looking for people who have something that I can actually learn from, apply it, and we both benefit, not just one. This is the other thing. Because of self-hate, we don't want to help someone else progress that looks like us. This is deep, brother. This is really deep when you look at it. Okay, so let's look at the next. We know we have the biological evidence that you are chosen. We know that already. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the fact that a space is created in the universe each time a new spirit enters it. Okay. Now, when an ovum is fertilized on the planet, okay, a space is created in the universe. Every time an egg, ovum is fertilized on the planet, and it's only one sex that can produce that from their ovaries, and that is a female. I had a conversation that was kind of disturbing with me with, I believe she's 15 years old. She said it was 3 genders. I said, no, there are only 2 genders. And her mom looked at her all surprised, like, where did you get that from? But this is what they're teaching our children. Okay, there are only 2 genders, and only the female gender can produce an ovum. And when that ovum is fertilized, it creates a space in the universe. for that spirit to enter into it. Okay. Also, I was talking about this earlier, but I want to go into it in a little more detail because it involves an intelligence that we can see in operation, the creator creatrix spirit. We can see this, okay, because at that time when you're sealed, okay, and I believe I mentioned this in a video once before, where everything is plagiarized to the point where they put it in religion to fool you. There's this theory that they use in religion, use theology, you're sealed to the day of redemption. This is where this comes from, okay? Because we clearly see that you're sealed. But another interesting thing that happens is billions of atoms of zinc are released at the moment of conception. Now, what is zinc good for in the body? Zinc is used to make the outer membrane of the egg impenetrable by other sperm. And that's what I was explaining earlier, why you're chosen, is because, and why you should never compare yourself to anybody else, because those other sperm, once you're sealed and that chemical is sent out and this zinc is released, oh, they're not going to be able to penetrate that membrane again at all. Only you will be able to do that. Okay. But zinc is also good. It's important for healing wounds. And also it controls your metabolism. It also is there for your immune system to strengthen it. And also it contributes to our sense of taste and smell. And our smell is the strongest sense associated with memory. So that's why no matter what you've smelled before at a young age, if you ever smell that again, it'll, in fact, if you could find the types of smells that influence that you smelled, say, 20 years ago, and you want to remember something that you have forgotten, I believe, because I've done this, that will activate those memories. So, again, we're not taught to use nature to understand and comprehend life. We're taught to listen to narratives by other people who have a God complex that want you to be subject to their way of their philosophies, their ideologies, and their theologies. Okay, now also, this is where, again, the psychological development of your conception begins to develop. And this is also why the attack on your immune system is a part of your personal spiritual battle. Okay. Again, this is why it's so important what you put in your body. That's all a part of this. And if you ignore that, there are serious consequences to that. Okay, so let's look at, so we talked about the fact that there's biological evidence that you were chosen, why you should never compare yourself to anyone else. Okay. And we also talked about the fact that a space is created in the universe, okay, each time a new spirit enters it. Now let's talk about who chose your purpose and why. The law of karma and destiny, okay, is very important. And this, again, I'm going to use a scripture so you can comprehend this. Whatever you sow, you reap. So you see, you're the one that chooses. Your path is set, yes. But you're the one that ultimately pushes that button, which is a great thing. And that's why it's so important to know your strengths and weaknesses and not lie to yourself and pretend to be something that other people want or like when it's detrimental to who you are as an individual. There was a study done. What was the name of this book? There's so long ago I read, but it had to do with the chemical processes in our brain that actually happen when we get to the point of making a decision. And that it showed up on the computer like as two separate rivers going like this. Okay, liquid, by the way. But the minute your mind and your conscious and your spirit goes towards, and your energy goes towards one area of decision, whether it's right or wrong, that liquid begins to solidify. You see? So this is the law of karma and destiny. Why? Because whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. Okay, so also, there was a study and research done by child psychiatrists, okay, on brain development. And 90% of our brain develops, and brain development happens in the first 3 years of our lives. And this was what caused me to really focus on the curriculum of the academy from the age of 3. Because, people saying, well, is that too complicated for children that age? No, it's not. It's too complicated to you, but it's not complicated to them as long as you don't try to persuade them like other people have done us. But that's powerful. 90% of our brain development happens in the first 3 years of our life. Only 10% after that 3rd year and up to the 13th year, okay, actually develops our brain. That is very powerful. Okay, so let's talk about why that's important. That's important because the things that you are doing around little kids that you think little children that you may think that may be cute, you're helping basically to shape and develop things that will be a part of their archetypes, their subconscious minds for the rest of their lives. So when you think you have your little 3 or 4 year old around you and you saying all these things and doing all these things, it's being just like AI. See, AI is just a duplicate of your original brain, okay? So when you are putting out these sound waves in the home with all the garbage you listen to, okay, then the children, that's becoming a part of their permanent brain development. And this is why Black children are having so many psychological issues right now. Is because after their germination period, okay, just like in nature, when you plant something, they get the sunshine, the rain, and then it's planted in fertile soil. And you're the one that's planting it. You're the sower. Okay, you're giving the seeds, but you're the sower. So many times you can get, this is why a lot of people can't get help or move beyond the issues, the psychological issues they have, is because they have planted their seed in unfertile soil. Now, many of us are influenced to do that. And that's because of our great desire and the spells that we're under for this fiat. That's the only thing you look at. You turn your back on the creator. And again, we need money to survive. I'm not talking about that. Okay. But there's a difference between you compromising, okay, the universal laws of the Creator, which you as the primordial seed are responsible for. And then, even if you don't want to do it, teach the children the truth about, being guardians of the planet, which we are. A lot of us don't see ourselves like that, but that's what we are. And this is why the law of karma and destiny affect us so much. Okay. It's not white folks. They don't have this kind of power that we give to them. Yes, their system that they developed has a lot to do with the conditions we're in now, but that's not what's keeping us here. Because when we look at nature, okay, those seeds, all right, if they are planted in unfertile soil, you can dig up, or not necessarily dig them up, but you can take the seeds that you have left and you can take them and find fertile soil. Okay, Brother Lance is a perfect example. No matter whether he was in America or Africa, I feel the same level of spirit, okay, and passion that I felt here when he was living here. So when people make these excuses about, oh, well, I'm living in this environment, I'm living around people, and we're gonna deal with that too. It's not that. So as I was saying, this is why people have issues growing, even though you have people giving you sunshine, positive energy in your life. When the rain comes, when you're dealing with testing things are testing. All of this plays a part. But that rain, the important thing about rain, even though we associate it with depression and things like that, because it does have an actual effect on people in that way. But without that rain and those nutrients going in the ground, well, we already have water in the ground, but without that nourishment as well, okay, then it is impossible for something to take root, germinate, and grow. And we're going to talk about the germination period in a minute. Nature versus nurture, okay, and the shaping of your personality and self-hate. Now let's talk about that for a minute. We know that this great controversy, nature versus nurture, that which area affects you more? Your nature, the biological components of your characteristics that you inherited genetically, the people around your immediate environment, your siblings, what have you, or the outside world, your environment, your peers, the people that you look to as authorities, the influences you have on your life. Which affects you most? They both do. You can pick and choose which one you want to choose. The thing is, which one shapes your person? Because I've seen children that come out of families who on paper would automatically be just crushed in life, have no chance at all. Many of our children who have achieved, and this is why I have an issue with them always showing our 10 or 15% of our bad seeds, okay, for lack of a better term. This is by purpose as well, on social media, on television, and even on the movies or in print. When most of our kids are high achievers, very high achievers. So they're under constant attack. Okay. But now there's no excuse for us, because we know that we are shaping the personality of our children from the age of 3. We know this. Okay. So then we have to take some responsibility for this. Now, unfortunately, the children, and even us, our children that have grown up or even us who have grown up, our parents can't go back and redo what was taught to us. We can't go back and redo, but what we can do is plant new seeds. And this is why I love the saying, grow where you're planted. Grow where you're planted. You don't need all of these other different things in order to do that. If you have one or two people that's giving you sunshine in your life, if you have one or two people that's watering your life, all you need to do is make sure you plant those seeds in fertile soil. That's all you need to do. But again, we are planting our seeds in unfertile soil, and then we are teaching our children to do the exact same thing. Okay. Now, let's look at what our three major influencers are. And I kind of looked at this and kind of narrowed it down. But it all centers around the relationships that we have. Okay. One is our relationship with ourselves. You have a relationship with yourself. Okay. There's a Neil and there's a Frazier. I know this. So in terms of how I treat myself, and in terms of how I view myself, in terms of what I'm willing to sacrifice and commit for myself, because too many times we're trying to please other people before we please ourselves. There's no way that you can please other people before you please yourself. And this is a critical mistake. Black people have been taught to do everything to please everybody else, to please the system, to please other cultures, but we have been taught to hate ourselves, because as a result of this, okay, as a result of us focusing on pleasing other people and these systems, okay, that means that we have to deny ourselves. And this is why you was taught incorrectly to deny yourself and follow other people or follow whoever. No. In antiquity, one of the greatest sayings our people had was know thyself. So this is why you can't lie to yourself about who you are. Okay. And you can't let, this is where the seat of jealousy and enviousness comes from. It comes from the fact that you're trying to compare yourself to other cultures, that other cultures set, well, one in particular, here in America, the standards and values that are set, you are trying to live according to those when it is diametrically opposed to your nature. And that's why we have so much anguish. Why, when this is actually at the root of self-hate, because when we look at each other, we see this. We see each other cooning. We see each other, well, not we, but in general terms, this is, you know, we do see our people selling us out. This is not, and this has a psychological effect on our people. But even with that, we are still able to push forward and make something come into manifestation with everything around us. Now, the second major influencer in our life is our relationship with other people. And again, if you don't have a relationship with yourself, then it's impossible for you to have a relationship with another person or other persons. And this is why most people have no concept of what true mori, or what you know as love, is. They have no concept. Okay, because if you know yourself, then you have no problem extending yourself to other people. But if you don't know yourself, and this is this is where the schizophrenia comes from. Okay, this is why you're this schism, you know, because let's face this truth: most Black people are two people. One is the corporate or the environmental person that is subject to, whether it's a business relationship, a social relationship, or a personal relationship, but is subject to the standards and values that were set not by our people, but by other people. And see, this is the one area that when I look at, I see where we have made a major mistake, is that the standards and values basically based on fiat materialism, but that's set for us by another people has been the root cause of our self-hatred and our self-destruction. And this has to be eliminated. The third most important influencing factor or influencer in our life is our relationship with our environment. Okay, what do we see around us on a daily basis? Okay, how do we interact with this environment on a daily basis? I was talking about earlier, and this is why most people, when they want to get pregnant, when that time comes once in every 28 days, okay, when that egg, okay, when the Ignish appears and that cosmic egg in you appears and this portal of life is open and that cosmic vortex is open in the spiritual realm, then this is when you have to plant your seeds. Not just physically to produce some type of conception, but psychologically and spiritually as well. Because that, after that 24-hour period, 12 to 24 hours, or I'm sorry, 48 hours, that window closes. And you have to wait another 28 days. So you see, you control this process in your life by your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other people, whether it's in business, social, or personal, and then your relationship with your environment. So every day I look at, okay, every week I look at the fact that I'm going to have a 12 to 48 hour window when this cosmic egg is open, when all of the things that I believe in my heart chakra, when all of my physical, psychological, and spiritual aspects and characteristics are galvanized, then I'm going to go through that hole. That's an opportunity. We miss too many opportunities because we're more interested in being like other people. Okay, this is why we can't focus on, because Black people have a lot of opportunities, okay? A lot. I see them all the time. Again, but because of the standards and values that have been set for us, that's outside our natural selves, and because of our relationship with the environment that we live in, okay, that says that if we don't have the material things that make you successful, then that you have no purpose, okay, or mission, which is the craziest thing in the world. But this is the importance of your germination period, okay? Just like there's always different germination periods in your life. You have to be able to recognize that. And sometimes you could go weeks, okay, like before that egg appear on the 28th day again, and that cosmic egg and that vortex is open spiritually, psychologically, okay, and you let that time go past, then this is the choice that you make. That takes, I mean, take a day, okay, and cut everything off, and use your germination period, okay, like the roots that develop after the seed goes in the ground, okay. Take that day, take that 12-hour period, take 48 days. I know many of us cannot do that, but you can split the time up. You can take 4 hours here, 4 hours there. This is the concept behind meditation. You don't have to do a whole lot of chanting or none of that. All you have to do is get somewhere in a quiet place, devote. You can go by a riverbank. I like to go by specific places where I go by water, because water is the greatest influencer on both our physical, spiritual, and psychological existence. So I always go around water or either trees. Okay, but you must understand your relationship between your personal germination period, the biological window, and what has been taught to us in terms of how things are conceived, how life is conceived. Then we must learn how to maximize that germination period. I looked at a study. It's pretty interesting. It said that 2 to 3 people, which is amazing in itself, have emotional issues that are negatively affecting their lives and the lives of their children. Now, remember, we just talked about the fact that the child psychiatrists did a study and research on the fact that 90% of our brain development occurs in the first 3 years. Then we know that if you have some kind of emotional issue that you're not dealing with, it is negatively affecting the lives of children as young as 3 years old. Okay. So let's look at a couple of more things here. Let's talk about who chooses your purpose and why that purpose exists. Okay, so the number one thing that has to happen is that you have to change first before you can achieve your purpose. Now, what do we mean by that? That means that whatever path you were going down that is inconsistent with who you know you are, not who you are trying to please, but you know who Neil Frazier, you know who that is, okay? Then I have to make changes based on Neil Frazier, not somebody else, what anybody else is saying on social media, on TV, all these emails you get about the master class that and master. That has nothing to do with me being able to achieve what my purpose is. Okay, what is most important is that I first have to recognize that whatever changes are necessary in my personal life, I have to make them. Nobody else can help me. Someone else can give me an advice and show me a way. But like the old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Or you can teach a man to fish, okay, and feed him. Or you can feed a man for a day, okay, or fish for them. Or either you can teach them how to fish, okay. Again, I'm going to use a scriptural reference so our people will have some idea of what I'm referring to. So when it says that follow me and I will make you fishers of men, and women, but because of the misogynistic nature of European males, A lot of things are defined that way. You can't separate the God from the goddess, first of all, and because the woman, okay, is the God of the universe, of the planet, the goddess. I don't care what you say or why you're saying it. Okay, because even in nature, we see that the X chromosome, as all of us are X chromosomes when the first 6 or 8 weeks after conception. And then we see the male testosterone emerging, okay, itself to develop the male. Okay, so, you know, we know that there are only 2 genders. In nature, we don't see any gender person being developed from this process. So you can get angry at me all you want. I don't care. I live according to the creator creatrix laws and nothing else. That's not to say I'm not influenced by other things, but ultimately, like I was explaining those 2 rivers, once you decide, that river begins to solidify, and that's what is going to be manifested from that decision. The thing that bothers me now is that, again, we are in a situation, and you have to look at it this way, is that we have people with a God complex trying to usurp the creator creatrix natural laws. Okay. So we know that the female, the creatrix energy, is the only one that has the ovaries to produce an egg. I don't care if it's produced artificially or however it's produced, it has nothing to do with the natural process. Okay, but again, we have to teach our children we are responsible for making this plain. There should be that conversation I had with that 15-year-old. She genuinely believed this. See, people are teaching our kids, because you're not stepping up, and we're going to talk about the difference between the primordial seed, that's the leader, and then we're going to talk about the primordial seed, that's the follower. Okay, because the primordial egg is already the leader, is already there, is already presented. So this is where, and you know, I know a lot of men don't like to look at nature this way simply because of the misogynistic things that we've been taught. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, and I'll quote a saying I read a long time ago. Show me a nation and how they treat their women and their children, and I'll show you the soul of that nation. So one of the major mistakes, again, we're making is we're trying to regulate the feminine energy into something else, okay, or reform it. And that is what's destroying Black male-female relationships. That is what's destroying our ability to compromise, okay, our ability to sacrifice for each other, okay, because everything that you do, you have been taught that your self-worth is based on fiat. So what's going to happen when that no longer exists? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen sooner than later. It's all going to be digital. Then what? See, I'm at a point now, and I've moved to a different level. I'm talking to different people now. And Lance is a big part of that as well. And the people in the chat room and all you guys that are doing what you do, that I no longer, like those sperms that were killed after I was sealed, I know my purpose. I no longer listen to, you can send me 1,000 emails. Okay, I am not going to change my path because someone else says that you can have or make this amount of fiat. Now, why would I worship fiat and that God over the creative creatrix of the universe. Why would I do that? Okay. And more importantly, why have you given away your birthright? I'm talking to black folks right now. Why have you done that? I know the answer to this. But you have given away your birthright. Again, I want to use scripture. The story of Esau, I believe it's Isaac and Esau. I could be wrong, but I know Esau is one of them. When you give away your birthright, okay, and again, the people, you're dealing with very cunning counterfeit spirits, okay? This stuff was designed for you, okay? It was plagiarized, first of all, from the concepts, original concepts, like Ebewak from our people, where we know that when you give away your birthright, you're giving away the standards of the creative creatrix and the values that are supposed to be lived according to the primordial energy. Okay. But you've given away your birthright. This is another thing that holds black people back. Okay. And this keeps your mind trapped. Now, how do you get your birthright back? We're going to talk about that in closing. But we have to get our birthright back. We have to. Because it's still, because the people that you gave your birthright to, they don't know how to use it. They don't know what to do with it. Just like when they first encountered the Medu Neter. They had no, so even if you created Demotic, okay, or hieroglyphics from, from our people, you still don't have the spiritual aspect of it. That's impossible. But because your mind has been trapped by this spell, then you're unable to see this. Okay, so we have to retrieve our birthright. The other reason why you should never, ever compare yourself to another person, or individually or culturally, okay? You're like nobody else. This is the way it was designed, okay? You are written in the stars, okay? There are three things that tell us that your life is written in the stars. We already talked about the fact that the universe shifts and makes a space for every time an ovum, okay, is fertilized. But there are numbers. There are three types of numbers that have a definite effect on the path of our lives. It's the destiny number, okay, which is a type of foreshadowing that is associated with your strengths and weaknesses. Then there's the master number, okay, and those are the numbers that affect your life. There are three master numbers. The 3, 6, 9 are the celestial or the universal numbers, okay? And we know that 9 is the root number of all things, all numbers. But there are earthly, as above, so below. Remember? The law of correspondence. So these three numbers on the earth, on the planet, are our master numbers, 11, 22, and 33. Okay? And then there is your life path number, which is associated with your month of birth, your year of birth, and just your birth date. Okay? Also, it's associated with the challenges you'll face, the divine law of relativity, the testing, and also the law of polarity, the flip side, the opportunities that will come. Now, one of the things that's done in order for you not to see the the opportunities that are available to you when it's written in the stars is because, again, we have not set the standards and values that, I mean, our standards and values, I think, should be higher than the ones that we are aspiring to. I really do. Simply because the values and standards that we have been placed under for 500 years is way below who we are. We know this. If you only look at your history, you know this. So this is why, you know, we know that you can never be like another person, or neither should you desire to be like another person or another culture when you talk about the culture that you are assigned to. It's written in the stars who you are. And that's why you have people who are into numerology, astrology, and astronomy that knows, you know, like our ancient ancestors who studied the stars and knew, you know, the time of month in August when the egg star claimed that it flooded the banks of the Nile and they could plant for fertile plant in fertile soil. Okay, your assignment is looking for you. Okay, your assignment is looking for you. Now, why is your assignment looking for you? It's looking for you because you don't know your assignment. But our assignment as the primordial seed is always looking for us. This is why they're always looking for, like the story about killing the firstborn. I know me and Lance have had this conversation several times. That this is another, they plagiarize about King Herod killing the firstborn. That's you. They're killing you at the molecular level. We saw that before. Because these counterfeit spirits know this. They're battling you on all fronts. Then once you come out of the womb, they're battling you again with the garbage that we're feeding our 3-year-olds. And see, this is why the battle begins. You know, we're looking at our little children. Their battle begins at 3 years old when they begin to comprehend the world around them. But we are not paying attention. We're giving them these devices and they're looking at all this stuff, okay, that you have no idea how it's affecting their brains, but it's developing 90% of it. Okay, so your assignment is looking for you. It's been looking for you all your life. When you finally sit down and look at the real you, not what's based on how much money you can make, because here's the other problem. This is the other thing that affects Black people at a serious economic level. And this was being explained by Dr. Kajufu earlier when the guy did the review of his work, is that, you know, each one of us, no matter how much you're making, has something to offer the other one. We have to move beyond this jealousy, this enviousness, because you're not going to be the one to suffer. These people are going to have our children back in slavery. Trust and believe. Trust and believe that's going to happen. And I don't like to speak things out of our mouth, but you know what? The behavior of Black folks right now, you're the one that has created this environment. It has. White people is not creating that now. We have very intelligent people. Look, man, when I look at us, okay, and compare it to what I see in other cultures, there shouldn't even be any comparison or question. It's the one main fact that we are so divided that even if you see Black people that's trying to do something positive, we still don't want to help that person. Okay. This is why, oh, thank you, creatures. This is why when your assignment is looking for you, you don't know that it's looking for you. Because you have all of these things that are put inside of you that is against your natural self. So your assignment is based on your natural gifts, abilities, passion, and pain. Now, aside from our natural gifts and abilities, when you are in sync with your assignment and your purpose, and you have a passion for that, well, you best believe there's going to be some pain associated. It's going to be pain and anguish, not just physical, but there's going to be psychological pain as well. This is why if you're doing something and you got, let's say, 90 out of 100 people agreeing with you, then something is wrong. Because the universe is not set up that way. Okay? Pain, or what we know as pain and suffering, is an equal partner, okay, in your assignment. And so you better get to the point. This is why you're taught about perfection. There is no such thing as perfection. In fact, without the struggle and the pain, you're never going to find your assignment and purpose, and you're never going to achieve it. I can say that wholeheartedly. Okay? Pain is a necessary part of your ability to walk in your purpose and to find your assignment. That is absolutely critical. So, and I know many of us who are functioning, on this level, we know we don't look at challenges the same way. We don't look at when people come at us out of left field, we know that's a counterfeit spirit. I actually experienced that this weekend, where someone was giving me angry, almost demonic-like looks and frowning at me. So, we've got to recognize that we have the ball in our court, but we've given this ball to someone. Hey, you take the shot, not me. You take the last shot. Okay. Now I want to use, I want to talk about leaders and followers. Okay. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because Black people are natural leaders. We're not sheep. We're natural leaders. Believe that or not. Okay, if you don't believe it, look at what happens as a result of any type of energy you put out through your sun, your individual sun or your collective sun. It goes in every area of human activity. Your energy is behind that. But you've been taught to think like a follower, because they know who you are. They know who you are. And the fact that they know who you are, okay, is the reason why there are so many weapons pointed at you on a daily basis. Okay, because they know who you are. But I want to use Dr. Miles Monroe, rest in power. I want to use an analogy that he used that I read years ago that I think, that I know is very true about our people. Okay, and it has to do with attitude. And he used the metaphor or the analogy of the eagle and the lion, and the attitude of the eagle and the lion. And that the eagle is a king or queen of the bird kingdom. Okay. We know this. They can fly the highest. They can do things that no other birds can do. They can see all the way to the ground from their position. There are a lot of things that eagles can do. They're very strong, they're strong-willed. And also, when an eagle is born, they're pushed out the nest. So it's like, you know, sink or swim. If you can't make it, I brought you into this world. If you can't make it, then that's on you, okay? Because you have everything. You're an eagle, okay? But see, we don't think that way. We don't look at ourselves as eagles. We look at ourselves as pigeons. That's why we see all of this negative behavior for attention. Because the people that we look at as eagles, we want to impress them. Okay. But the one that really kind of stood out to me, this metaphor and this analogy you use about the lion and the attitude of the lion, that the lion is the king of the animal kingdom of the jungle, right? It's not the tallest. It's not the largest. It's not even the heaviest or the smartest. Okay. But the one difference between a lion is their attitude. Whereas they look at the giraffe and the elephant, these bigger animals, as food. Where the elephant and the giraffe look at the lion as a threat. Okay, as somebody that can take my life. And the statement he made is so very, very true. He said that an army of lions led by a sheep, an army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. Now that is a deep statement. Okay, so you think you got all these narcissistic people and you know all these, thank you. You know all these people that are successful and all of this stuff, and they're lions or whatever they call themselves, alpha males or whatever. Okay, but many of them are being led by sheep. Okay. But most of the sheep that you see, that the sheepish behavior that Black people exhibit, okay, it's because we are lions, but we are being led by sheep. We're being led by this notion that these misogynistic European males have set their standards and values that they have set, and the system that's been developed in these counterfeit spirits is what we're supposed to aspire to be. No, that is what has you trapped. This is what you have to change. And if you don't change that, or if you don't want to change, at least change the way we teach our children, then you're choosing. Okay, this is what karma, the law of karma and destiny is all about. You're choosing. You're the sower. The seeds where you're planting determines this. No one else determines this. Okay. A couple more things here. I wanted to talk about how 2 or 3 people, and we talked about this, mentioned this earlier, but 2 out of every 3 people have an emotional issue that are negatively affecting their lives and the lives of their children. Okay, so here again, we see that we are led by emotionalism. Even in religion, you're led by emotionalism, when that is not what you're supposed to be led by. That is sheepish behavior. Okay, you're supposed to be led by the laws of the universe. You need to take the time to look at them because they're there. And you not only look at them, but incorporate them in your lives. Get rid of these false standards and values that are based on the worship, okay, of false gods and goddess and these counterfeit spirits that have your mind and your spirit trapped. Get rid of that, okay? This is what keeps you in a psychological sheep state. And again, we have to change our behavior. You know, I get tired of seeing what our young people are doing, but, you know, beyond being ashamed, we have to take some type of responsibility for this, all of us, because we don't speak out against it. Now, if they choose to continue, that's up to them. Okay? Because like I said, you know, I basically, if I'm dealing with children or young people, 30, 40 years old, 20 years old, whatever, in their teens, then if it's something they're doing, I'm going to mention it to them. Okay, because they are trained on attention getting, seeking, and fiat, and nothing else has value to them. Okay, we have got to change the standards and values that our children hold so dear. We have got to do this. Okay, I know that we are doing a great job, particularly people in the chat room and Brother Lance. And there are other platforms that are doing things to fight against this. But we need to have an overwhelming force against this. And, you know, there's going to be some division. They're going to use people, coons, that will continue to support, you know, or say things and try to tie us with negative energy. You know, I don't buy into this crap about no left and right. They're all two wings of the same bird. Ain't doing shit for black people or brown people for that matter. Only the ones that they're bringing from different countries, and they have an agenda for that. So we need to stop making excuses. We need to stop looking at people based solely on fiat. And we need to find, because believe it or not, you could walk by a homeless person and not even know that that person might have the key to unlock your purpose in life. But we have been so taught, miseducated, indoctrinated the wrong way that it's so hard for us to change. When we have the greatest heart chakra and mind ever on this planet. And finally, our psychosocial environment, you know, things, how we socialize, you know, everybody's caught up in the sports and everything. How we process things psychologically. And who sets these standards and these values that we live by? Who sets them? We talked about who sets them. So the way that you take back your birthright, I promise I'd kind of close with this. The way that you take back your birthright has to do with who's setting the standards and values that you're going to live by, and more importantly, that our children are going to live by, how we're going to teach them. Because we've freely given away this birthright. We have that birthright to do that. But we've given this to people who have shown that they have no intention of giving you no reparations for all the centuries of your work, for all the sacrifices that Black people have made to this country, fighting in their wars, dying on the streets of America. You know, the inventions that our people have made that have been stolen by corporations, and none of their descendants benefit from it. We don't have any major corporations with our names on it. Okay. But we have the power to change this. As long as we're not trying to be other people, why should you? Embrace yourself, your culture, and you know, even with all of this, our energy has changed the world. More importantly, it has set the foundation for the world, even though you don't get credit for it. And I'm talking about the economic foundation and every other kind of foundation you want to think of. Social foundation. Okay. So with that, Brother Lance, I think I'll close out. And I don't know if you're still around or not around, but again, the point of the presentation is I see too many of our people whose standards and values are based on a culture, okay, that basically operates off of wickedness, because the ones that really benefit are the wicked ones. What I have an issue with is, why do our people want to be wicked? This is not in our nature. Why do we want to be wicked? Okay. The other thing too, and I want to say this before I sign off. You know, I got a problem with anybody killing hundreds of people. Okay. Now, we all know the history of Palestine and Israel. I don't give a damn if you want me to side with killers who, first of all, I want to say this too, because I don't want Lance programming platform to get shut down. First of all, the Palestinians are the rightful owners of that land. We know this. I don't care if you get mad at me or not. Okay, because the people who currently reside in the land that they call Israel are not the original Jews. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. You can get angry, firing people for telling the truth and doing all this old crazy, degraded, evil stuff. This is the truth. The other thing I look at is the Israelis have the most sophisticated intelligence in the world. How could something like that happen? How do we know these people? This could have been something. If you can go to a magazine and hire mercenaries like they did with the Haitian president. Okay, so how do we know that what you're saying is true? Okay, just in order for you, all of the wars in America were started by these wicked, wealthy people, okay, or the globalists, whatever you want to call them. You can look at the sinking of the Lusitania. Okay, this was done in order to start World War I. Okay, so these same people, they play both sides. It's called the Hegelian dialectic, I believe. They play both sides. They finance both sides of this war, but they got you taking sides. And they don't care nothing about you or your opinion. They do the same thing that they have always done to us. And because they have religion tied to it, then you are forced to go against what your very own eyes are showing you and what you know to be true in history. See, this is the same game they play with us. Well, Black, you must be against the military since you're not. No, we're not against. Most of our families died in the military. No, we're against the government for sending our children into these wars, talking about you fighting for patriotism, when that is the biggest lie in the world. You're not fighting, just like with weapons of mass destruction. There were no weapons of mass destruction. You know, I remember Colin Powell, before he died, apologizing to the world. Okay, so these wicked people do the same thing, and then they try to penalize you and me when we stand on truth. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. You know, this war could have very well been started by these same greedy people in America and in Europe and wherever, Israel and wherever the hell else they live and where they are, in order to do whatever wickedness they have planned to do. I'm glad I remember that. Thank you, Critic. This is ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Okay. Same thing with, you know, what's going on in the war in Ukraine and Russia. All of these forces and all of these things that are happening is because the sowers of these seeds are wicked. There's no other way to look at it. And they don't value you, the planet, or nothing else, but there's a reckoning day coming for them. They're trying to destroy the planet. Okay. This is, first of all, okay, this planet doesn't belong to the fake people that are acting like it does. Okay. This planet does not belong to you. And more importantly, it doesn't give you the right to kill hundreds of thousands of people. I don't care who you are, what religion you say you're following, or whatever. You do not have that right. Now, yes, you have the right to defend yourself. Okay. But this is, see, one of the reasons we have these problems in the world is because we've been living these lies for so long. And now that the seeds have germinated and manifested from these lies, now, you know, people want you to pick sides. I stand on the creator-creatrix side. And when I see something that's not right and that's wrong, I don't give a damn who it is. Okay? That's what it is. And so you have these same liars in the United States government that you call politicians. That all of them, all they care about is fiat. They don't give a damn about you and me. I don't care what color you are, but mostly black and brown folks. But, you know, they do the same thing to white people. They look at them as casualties of war. So let's stop with this little girl, little boy game, trying to penalize people for their opinion, trying to gag people for speaking truth. Okay, because your reckoning day is here. So, Brother Lance, I don't know if you're still there.
Of course I am. I can't miss this lecture.
Okay, brother, good, good. And I got about 15 more minutes.
Okay, I'm here.
I just want to kind of wind it down in terms of, you know, well, actually, I better close because I got somebody here that
right.
I got.
So do your thing, post it up. I'm here, and just sign off when you're ready. You know.
All right, brother. Well, I better sign off because I know that they're waiting for me. And,
yes, no problem.
Again, brother, keep up the great work. Keep up the fight. You know, our people believe that we shall overcome. I was looking at Paul Mooney the other night, man. I was dying laughing.
Paul
Dave Chappelle You remember he was playing the part of I think it's Mr. Bigums or whatever, where he was this black Klan member. He was blind, and one of the lines he had, they said, well, why do you hate black folks so much? He was like, because they stink and they eat up all the chicken. And I died laughing. I was like, you know what? These stereotypes, bro, they got to go, because everybody eat chicken, okay? So,
I know,
man, right?
It's
amazing the labels and all the shit they have out about
it. It stick too.
Numbing. It really is. All right, brother. Well, peace and love to you, everybody in the chat room. You know, I can run off some names real quick. Kwame, Indigo King. I haven't looked at the chat room, but Reese, Gina, Mr. Holman, Levi, Riri. See, I always know, you know how it is, but I can always say amnesia, okay?
Right.
Yeah, you can. But
well, I hate to see you go, brother. I feel like I'm outside playing with my friends, and my mother said, "Come on, time to come on inside." I'm like, man, just 5 more minutes. But I know you have to go, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'll be back on in the morning time. We'll be talking about something, man. So, you know, we're always going to keep it going. Yes, and it's an honor and a pleasure to enlighten us, and just arm us with this knowledge so we can navigate the shark-infested waters wisely. You see?
Absolutely.
And thanks for bringing the quality to the internet, brother. There's nobody like you.
Thank you,
all right?
brother. I appreciate the kind words. Have a good day.
Yes, brother. Have a good night, brother. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Peace.
Most grievous sin to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell. Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So, my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then, following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.